Jimmy G really quick?
Yeah, so let's do Alex Smith, Jimmy G.
Yeah.
So let's go Jimmy G first.
Okay.
Right? So rumor on the street, speculation is that the Patriots are actually looking at Jimmy G to be their plan A option at quarterback for the 2021 season. What do you think about that?
I don't believe it. I don't think the Patriots are that pie in the sky to have something as their plan A. That's a player that's under contract
For another team?
that the other team has said nothing about wanting to get rid of them. What do you think you have to offer? Granted, there is a trade to be made if the Niners are willing to do it, right? Patriots want to get rid of Stephon Gilmore, right? That's a top flight corner you got. Good. That makes that defense even scarier.
Yeah.
Send another young defensive talent over there because you guys already have really good defense. So send another young defensive talent over. A second round pick, Jimmy G, send over.
The thing is, I don't think Jimmy G is worth Stephon Gilmore. I would keep Stephon Gilmore over Jimmy G, to be honest.
The only reason I say that is because you're trying to get rid of him anyway.
Right, I'm just saying.
You think that the Niners would have to send more to the Patriots?
No, I think what would have to happen.
I think immediately. Granted, Stephon Gilmore, he didn't really have that great of a season
Right.
last year. But the year before that, he was top corner.
Well, actually, believe it or not, bro, he's actually been the top graded cornerback in the NFL since 2017.
Okay.
He's at a 91.5 grade from 2017. So he's actually been the best grade. What the hell does that mean? Graded.
It takes a lot of time for corners because, like, last year, Bryce Callahan on the Broncos
was like a top five
corner. No one knows who he is. No one cares. It takes a while for you to get to that point.
Exactly.
But I think Stephon Gilmore had a rough season last year. Patriots don't want to play him. I'm sorry, pay him.
He got hurt.
They're trying to shop him anyway. Right, he got hurt. So, and Jimmy G's a quarterback.
Right, you gotta have a quarterback.
And he knows your system already. Imagine getting. Oh my gosh, they must feel so stupid. Getting rid of him. Granted, they won a few Super Bowls since then, but
did they? Yeah.
So it would be an interesting trade to be had. There is something to be had there. If the Niners are willing to trade Jimmy G.
Correct.
All we've heard is rumors and speculation at this point about Jimmy Garoppolo leaving the Niners. But when there's so many different reports, at what point? When there's smoke, there's fire.
Right, and see, that's my big question. You know, there's a couple of things that stick out to me that don't make sense. Number one, the Patriots never proclaim anything that they do. If they're trying to make a trade, you don't know about it until it's done. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I've never heard of the 49ers necessarily wanting to get rid of Jimmy G.
No.
You've heard rumors, you've heard through the grapevine that they don't really like him, he doesn't fit the system.
They're lukewarm
on him. I don't know what that means.
Right.
I think it all comes down to, do the 49ers want to play ball or not? Because I think if the Patriots want him that bad, they'll be able to make the deal happen.
Sure.
I think it really comes down to, do the 49ers want to play ball or not? And I don't know if they do, because what other option do they have at quarterback? Chris Mullen? What is his name?
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins?
Yeah. I think it's strange, right? So under Kyle Shanahan, has a 25% win percentage without Jimmy Garoppolo. He only wins 25% of the games that Jimmy Garoppolo is not there. Which means he wins 75% of the games that Jimmy Garoppolo is there.
And that's true. They went to the Super Bowl with him.
Right.
You know?
So, we'll say the same thing about Jared Goff.
That's true.
He got shipped and they sent picks to get Matthew Stafford.
That's true, actually, yeah.
When people feel lukewarm about these young quarterbacks who really don't have that crazy arm talent like a Lamar Jackson or like a Patrick Mahomes or a Russell Wilson, and they're just kind of like, they're good, they're fine, then teams want to typically, with young coaches, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McDermott.
They want to show that they can do it with anybody.
They want to move off. I'm sorry, not Sean McDermott, Sean McVay. They want to, get somebody with a lot of talent. They want to get someone with the pow and, who's going to be a playmaker, right? Maybe a three-team trade. Jimmy Garoppolo to the Patriots, Deshaun Watson to the Niners, Stephon Gilmore down there. Something gets sent over from the Niners over to the Patriots. That's just some crazy. This is me just spitballing.
Right.
I'm making stuff up. I'm playing Madden in my head right now.
Yeah.
So, but if someone wants to get rid of Jimmy G, there's a market for him.
Absolutely.
Any team would be lucky to have him at quarterback. I would like to have him at Broncos.
And that's the thing too. That's the thing that makes me even more confused and not on board with it. I would love to have Jimmy Garoppolo.
Sure.
I think it'd be great. The only thing I don't like about him is the fact that he's injury prone.
Sure.
He has a tendency to get hurt.
Yep, absolutely.
But other than that, the only thing that makes me kind of questionable about the whole thing is that if he's being shopped like that, other teams will be asking by now.
Sure.
And you haven't heard of any teams talking about him, which also makes me think that this might just be some kind of run-of-the-mill, let's just float it out there and see what the response is. It really doesn't mean much kind of thing. Hopefully it does. Hopefully we can get Jimmy G. I mean, the Patriots need a quarterback bad.
Yeah.
They need it. I mean, they could start with that at the very least. Because they know that Cam Newton probably not coming back. I don't know if you want him back.
Yeah.
I don't think I would as a fan of the Patriots. But
No, Cam's a smart guy. If you give him a second year in the system, I'm sure he'll be better than last year.
No doubt.
Last year was rock bottom for him.
And I think he wants to get paid too.
Yeah.
And I think he will make money somewhere, which is good. Go get the money. You're not going to get paid in New England.
No.
Nobody gets paid in New England.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And not to mention, you guys have literally one name on your offense, and his name is Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty below average.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you guys
running
have
backs.
no tight end talent.
Decent running backs.
No receiver talent. Right? You guys have a few running backs who are decently well
Damian
off.
Harris. Sweet Feet. Sony Michel.
Got the nickname for him.
Sweet Feet.
Sweet Feet.
I'm trying to think of his real name. I can't remember.
So now let's hop over to another quarterback who's obviously he is definitely going somewhere else, or if he can get signed somewhere, he will go somewhere else.
That's the big key right there.
The Washington football team released Alex Smith, comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Arguably took them to the playoffs. What role do you think he has with the team that he will sign with?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well,
Doesn't even have to give me a team. Just what is his role?
I think the first thing you have to ask, if you're looking at Alex Smith, is do I even feel comfortable putting him on the field?
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel comfortable paying him money to put him on the field? I think that's the first thing you have to ask yourself. Like me personally, every time I saw him on the football field, I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was scared.
Sure.
It's because you see the story that he's had up to this point, and you see the trauma that he's had in that leg, and it's just it's hard to shake that picture. It's hard to shake that image out of your head, right? So I think that's the first question you have to ask. Are teams going to be willing to even pay him anything? Period. And I think the next thing is, what does the market look like?
Sure.
Are there other quarterbacks that are in play that would outshine him? I would imagine there's probably a lot.
Sure. I think there are a few things you could do with Alex Smith. Along with, I'll throw in Ryan Fitzpatrick in there too.
A veteran backup, I think, is a great place for him to be.
Correct. I think a guy who can mentor a young guy somewhere like Jacksonville. He's going to mentor Trevor Lawrence. He has ties to Urban Meyer.
I was just going to say Jacksonville.
He already has ties to Urban Meyer.
Yep.
He has all these things. Jacksonville's a spot. Denver's a spot. You got a young quarterback who needs some help. Jets, whoever they end up drafting, whether they keep Sam Darnold or draft Zach Wilson, bring up a young guy. I think either Alex Smith or Ryan Fitzpatrick could fit in that role for somebody at some point to help mentor a young quarterback. And if that young quarterback does not succeed, it puts pressure on that young guy and says, all right, well, we got a guy who's ready to go. So, hey, if you're not ready, go ahead, Alex, or go ahead, Ryan. I think that's the situation you have to look at. I don't think anyone's going to sign either of those guys to a starting role out the gate. No. Like, hey, we're signing you to be our starter. We're signing you for competition and to mentor. I think that's the kind of spot you have to look.
That is absolutely what it's going to be. I just don't think that there's a lot of new talent coming into the league now. And whenever there's new talent, there's always turnover somewhere.
Sure.
And I think people like Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think people like Alex Smith, those are the people that are going to be kind of pushed out now.
Sure.
Which it's bound to happen, but I mean, shoot, Drew Brees might be pushed out of the league now too.
Sure. I
so.
think it's important to have these older veterans on teams with young quarterbacks, though, especially because next year's quarterback kind of market is going to be very, very interesting because there are close to no starting caliber quarterbacks in the draft next year. They're all gone. There's not going to be a single guy unless somebody shows out in college season, which could always happen. But as of right now, there's no prospects really that we could say like, hey, this is gonna be a top 10 guy. This might be an Eric Fisher year where
Right.
he's drafted #1 overall as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So getting these young quarterbacks right who are coming into the league now with veteran presence behind them to support them and help them make moves is going to be important, because now you have guys like Deshaun Watson who are going to go somewhere. You have guys like Russell Wilson. If he doesn't have a good season this year and the Seahawks, kind of give him the one over, he's going to want to out and go somewhere. Jimmy Garoppolo, if he doesn't have the season that he needs to have this year, he's going to go somewhere. If Tua doesn't have a good year, the Dolphins are in the market for a quarterback. So I think having these veteran presences, that's not a word, having a veteran presence in your quarterback room for a young quarterback is very, very important, because it helps get a guy in the right mindset. I like what the Steelers are doing with Dwayne Haskins. Bring in a guy who's very similar to Ben Roethlisberger. Parties like Ben Roethlisberger, and kind of, he's got that frame like Ben Roethlisberger, where he's like semi-athletic, but not really too much. He's a little more
kind of big body,
right? Big bone, big body, right? Exactly. It gives him a chance to have a guy who he can look at and kind of mirror image himself and say, this is how I can succeed. This is how I can progress. I think giving quarterbacks like a Drew Lock, a guy like that, or guys like Sam Darnold, a guy like that, can really boost their confidence and give them someone to model after.
I think Denver would be a good place for Alex Smith.
I would like having Alex Smith and Ryan Fitzpatrick. There were rumors that the Broncos were going to sign Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Because he's about to retire, so unless he gets snatched up pretty quick.
That's what the rumors say.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
what they say.